Bernie,
Hi, Ryan.
you look so
Oh my
good.
God, thank you. So do you.
What's this say on your necklace?
Oh, it's a Lorenzo. It's my son's name.
Oh my God, how cute. Well, and I think what connected us, the important part is really about the mocktails.
Yeah.
And I think living in LA, you know how much of a party it is. And you were in New York too?
No, I actually
Okay.
wasn't, but I understand why you'd think that page 6 is New York.
Yes.
But no, I'm a Miami native, went to the University of Florida, and then immediately after college moved to LA.
Yes, because you knew that you wanted to be like involved with entertainment news.
Yeah, entertainment news, celebrity news. Immediately moved to LA and worked at TMZ. That was my first place or my first experience in the industry. And it was good. It was very informative. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I made amazing connections. And there's good and bad anywhere you work. So I'm choosing to take with me the good, which included a husband. So here we
I love the seeing you guys on TMZ years and years ago. And I used to watch it all the time because it was just always running on when you had cable and it was just always there. And it was interesting.
Yeah.
But then I remember seeing you and you look so different.
I was younger. I was puffier for a variety of reasons.
You look so young, and I don't even know now, knowing what I know, because I can understand I was puffy when I was partying. And so it was just like, that was like, because I think we're both born in the 90s, correct?
Yes, 92.
Okay, so you're younger, I'm 90, and it was just like we went to party schools, or we went to these cities that life was the party, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, I want to work my way up in my career. But I think I was always getting 2 steps ahead and then 1 step backwards because I was just living for the weekend and living for just that lifestyle.
Totally. And it was just, it's not a sustainable way to live. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And I envy in a way that I'm not jealous of people who can have a cocktail at dinner. I watch them and I study them and I'm like, wow, to be in a different body with a different brain, to be able to have one cocktail at dinner and go about your life. And that just was never in the cards for me, but it took me a very long time to accept that was never in the cards for me.
Yeah. Did you have an aha moment in was it 20s or early 30s?
So not yes and no. I didn't this is embarrassing. I've had several rock bottom moments.
Too.
Which is, I think this idea of somebody hits a rock bottom and they go, oh shit, my life. Sorry, can I curse? Okay, great.
We encourage you to curse.
Perfect. My people. I think there's this idea that you have a rock bottom moment and you have a wake up call. And for some people, I think that's the case. But I'm learning for the majority of people, there are numerous rock bottoms. It's like, how low can we go? I never drank in high school, never experimented. I grew up in a very strict, loving, but strict household, right? It was a Catholic, Cuban, conservative household, right? The three C's. So when I went away to college, it was like an entirely new world. And I went to the University of Florida, major party school. I was away at school. My very first drink was the day I got to UF, and I blacked out.
And you were like 19, right?
I was.
Or 18.
18.
Yeah.
And had numerous rock bottom moments in college. It wasn't pretty. And I don't want to make light of it. I've definitely healed and moved on, but there were instances of unwanted sexual activity. And I'm not blaming myself, but alcohol was involved. And I think if I had been in my right mind, maybe I could have prevented things. I ended up in the hospital twice because I was found passed out on the side of the fucking road.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I can relate.
The fact that I don't know, my guardian angel deserves a raise because I don't understand why nothing worse happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you look at your peers and your friends are all partying with you, but they're not ending up in the hospital.
Hey, like why? Like, why do we have this allergic reaction? Or why do we look? I think too, you could be like the same as me when it comes to this. I just like to guzzle and chug, and I just don't know why. But then I see other people and I'm like, why are they sipping? I wish I could be a sipper.
No, because are you an intense person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, like
Are you a
legal,
CEO?
unfortunately.
Oh
So
my God, we connect. Duh. I reached out to you. I'm like, okay, Scorpio energy, entertainment news, sober.
yeah,
What else do we have in common besides maybe the passing out and me in New York? And it was just so sad that I had to go through that. But then you're also like, it was what kind of brought us here, which is a blessing.
totally. I totally agree. And I will say, I think I went through bouts and instances of not drinking
Hmm.
because I think my biggest issue, and I don't know if you're the same, but moderation is the hardest thing
Yeah.
for me to master. With regard to everything in my life, I go very
Right.
hard. I'm super passionate. I think it serves me in a lot of ways. I'm a very committed employee. I'm like, I hope I'm a good wife. I hope I'm a good mom, and very committed to all of these things. So if you tell me we're going out on Friday night, say less. I would have, and everyone grows up, and I noticed everyone was maturing, and I wasn't. And I was like, oh shit.
Hmm.
Then I have a kid. And I remember I was 6 months, and postpartum, by the way, was horrible for me. I just had a
Right.
really hard time postpartum. I was battling postpartum depression, anxiety. I'm used to anxiety and depression in a way. I think a lot of us millennials, but just in general, it's a very common, typical experience to be an adult and have anxiety and depression. But this was on another level. And I was still trying to balance moderately drinking. I loved the mommy juice culture. I wanted some
Hmm.
wine after a long night. And I remember my son was about 6 months old, and I had it wasn't even anything chaotic, but I blacked out and
Hmm.
went to sleep and woke up the next day. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is,
Yeah.
first of all, trying to parent hungover, trying to parent a baby or toddler hungover, no hell like that. It is the worst idea
Yeah.
and concept. And I don't recommend it. And some people are able to do it. And honestly, my hat's off to you. But for me, that was more, it was, I don't want to say subtle because it's not subtle, but the idea of, and mind you, my husband was there. I wasn't the only person taking care of this baby and drinking and passing out. We were on a getaway. I had a little too much fun. It wasn't that big a deal on paper, but some side me was like, is this really how you want to be a parent? Is this how you want to be a wife and a partner? I was like, this is just not worth it. I'm like, I remember, was I 31, 32? I'll be 2 years sober in September.
Oh my God.
And it feels, I stress out with counting days and counting dates and all that.
Yes.
I think for some people, it keeps them accountable and on the trajectory. And it doesn't work for me. I think I get too obsessive. So I just put it out of sight, out of mind. I take alcohol off the table and I just live my life. And I am so grateful to be here in this space because I think I have tried sobriety in the past and it's been for other people. It's been, oh, I don't want to say mandated, but I do remember in college, my parents, they did their very best with me. I was not the easiest child, adolescent, teenager to raise and parent and guide. And I remember in college, they were like, if you don't stop drinking, we're pulling you out of school. This was my senior year after 2 times ending up in the hospital. And I agreed, no problem. I was sober the rest of the year and then moved to LA right after. And I'm pretty sure my mom was like praying to God that I wouldn't just die out there.
Yeah. It's easy
And
to
thank God I
do.
didn't. But LA, but you were in New York, right?
I was in both, and I
Oh,
think I thought LA was going to be easier to kind of get sober. Like you, there were moments where I was like, I'm going to be done with it. I'm going to do 6 months off because I blacked out and a friend had to take me home. And I was just getting to a point where I'm like, oh, it's just I don't eat enough. And it's just, or I need to just moderate, or oh, I need to not do liquor. So there was always these excuses because I didn't know how to function in society without happy hour or without your friends who were like drinking. So then you start to get under this spell of I'm connecting with Bernie, I'm connecting with these other people that it's like all of us are coming out of the woodwork and we're talking about sobriety because it used to be like, oh, you don't want to talk about that because we can't hire you. You are like, you have something, you have a problem with you.
Totally.
But everybody struggles with it in some way, shape, or form. I just had somebody over the other night and they had a whole bottle of wine to themselves. And I was looking at them as I don't want to be judgy, but I could tell like when we're all my boyfriend's recently sober. Now, I didn't want that to happen. I didn't expect that. I was like, I want you to be yourself. I want you to like, but I think he just is getting older. He's 40, so he's feeling better.
Yeah.
He didn't really have the same things that me and you struggled with, but he's also, oh, wow, this is actually a better way. Maybe it's a little bit boring, but it's also like you feel so much more productive during the weekends.
Absolutely. And I'm in a place in my life where I welcome boring.
Yes.
Like I have
especially being a mom.
Exciting stories. I have enough exciting stories to write a whole book.
Can you do that? I want to hear this book, this audio book.
Oh my God. It would be intense. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, and that's not to say that you can't be like in your mid-20s and choose not to drink, which by the way, it is so cool to see this next generation of 20-somethings choosing not to drink simply because it doesn't serve them. And they're like, no, because then I can't make it to Pilates the next day. And I'm like, me in my 20s could never, but I appreciate about you. That's so cool to me.
I know. And they're like so much more, I don't know. I guess we weren't as educated because marketing alcohol is such a massive industry. Yes. And we didn't have that luxury of knowing and really having people open up about it because I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, I remember I would drink tequila from the bottle and now it makes me feel like my throat is burning, like poison.
Yeah. And it really, even if you can drink, alcohol is poison. It really is. Even if you enjoy it and it's just not good for you, even if you can tolerate it.
Yes.
So cutting it out of your life is just beneficial in every way, shape, and form. But I'm not even like you. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. You have your drinks, have your wine, have your beer. I'm actually, and it's cool to me that you were able to have somebody over at your house who drank a whole bottle of wine and you were okay to be around it. And I'm at a place where I'm also okay to be around it.
Is that a progression or has that always been like for you that you can handle that?
I think because this bout of sobriety that I am currently on was so personal and such an active choice by me that I don't feel tempted being around people who drink. I definitely look at them from a space of observation and I would never cross a line, but I can also feel like because of my experience, I can spot people who are maybe not drinking for the right reasons, maybe drinking a little too much, maybe getting a little out of hand. There's just signs, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of pick up on it. And I've never said anything. I'm good with my little non-alcoholic beer.
Me too.
And I'm good to have a good time. And I think just knowing I'm going to wake up tomorrow and feel good. And if I don't feel good, it's because I'm tired and old, not because I'm off.
Exactly. Yes. Not because you're a bore or what was that?
Oh, not because I'm tired or not because I'm hungover, but because I'm tired and old.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel you. I'm kind of like, I am feeling like all the feels. And I used to just, as somebody who's maybe been in the closet or maybe somebody who is struggling with trying to be an actor and I'm like not making it and I'm like numbing it because I don't want to believe it's like the secret, like the law of attraction. You have to believe that it's going to happen. And then I would numb it when I wouldn't get the job or when I wouldn't book this or when I didn't interview well and I did, so it was just like, that was my defense mechanism. And now knowing 2 years sober, I'm like 2.5, I guess, roughly. And just right there with you, 6 months ahead of it. And it's interesting to meet people like you that are on a similar timeline where we start to have these aha moments and epiphanies. And I'm sure you more than me because you have children, and it's like, I can't even imagine being hungover and having to drive them to practice or be because when we were hungover as in our 20s, we could just like
Oh,
have a down day.
oh, it was, and even then you felt horrible, but you were
Yes.
in to be in bed. You got to Postmate all the trash,
Right.
get some Gatorade in your system, take some
Yeah.
Tylenol or whatever, and just try to get rid of the hangover. There's really no
Yes.
option to do that when you have a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
And my kid is 2, so he
Mhm.
is active, and it's not
Yeah.
fun. And I think being in the entertainment space, which you are as well, it's very prevalent, but you also realize I could fuck all this up if I continue on this trajectory.
Is your husband
Right.
drinking?
Is my husband what?
Does he drink?
So he's not sober, but he
Yeah.
gets migraines very quickly, very easily. He's always battled migraines since he was a kid. So he'll have one drink and he'll have a migraine. So he chooses not to drink typically. And it's really helpful being with a partner who's not a partier because there are
Yeah.
that I know who like both of them can drink like tanks and they
Oh,
love going out and they
yeah.
love raging and good for you guys. That's awesome. I'm very grateful that I'm not in the position where my husband is in that space and then I'm over here becoming someone else because I can also see how that can make you grow apart from somebody.
Yeah.
If you're choosing a different, very different lifestyle from like the lifestyle that like your partner is used to having and
Right.
not imposing my life choices on anybody. So it's very helpful that he's on this journey with me in a way, not even trying to be, but he's so supportive. And
Yes.
that's also people can only take so much. So like he's never said that to me, but I know the disappointment that he would feel the days that he would have to take care of me or the days where I'd go to brunch with the girls and we had plans like later that night, he and I, and then I can't make those plans. And the sadness and the disappointment like kills me to this day. And it's like, you can't carry guilt with you forever, but those moments help to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, and I think even me when I was trying to do it so many times, I was with the wrong partner. Not that they were bad, they just were party animals, and that's who my friends were. Like, I felt like I was surrounded by like boozy brunchers and trust fund kids that didn't have to work and like maybe just like the party animal culture that like we met at bars. So it's like we're very social and that's how we socialize. So it was like so much fun in the moment, but then when I get arrested because I was sober for 5 months and then celebrate that I got this pilot and it's okay. So I guess I could have a couple. And it was like you're with a partner that should have been like, no, no, you've been so good. Why would you start it back up? But then they're partying and it's like you miss that. And then you mix like an edible with skinny, spicy margaritas when you haven't
Oh,
had anything.
that was my favorite.
I know. I love skinny spicy margaritas, extra spicy.
Yeah. Same. Extra spice. Yes, that was my
That's a
drink.
Scorpio thing.
Yeah, because we're not spicy enough. Give us any extra spice and margarita. Yeah, that was
I
my
know. And it's like, it got to the point where I was like successful enough or schmoozing enough that I could hold a job and charm the right person to, I don't want to say pay my bills, but it was when you're in a relationship and somebody is taking care of you and then you can kind of be a mess. And you're
yeah.
right, I disappointed them because I would be hungover, I wouldn't be able to show up or whatever. But like when you're single and you're doing that, you kind of have to be responsible for yourself.
Totally. And that's scary.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
and I think I don't know about you, but I think for me it wasn't just alcohol. I
Mine was pot. I didn't smoke pot ever in college or high school. And then whenever I moved to LA, it was
Mm.
like my trainer that I was like, hey, you should just do the pot. You can have the munchies. We're working out so hard, but the alcohol for you does not respond well. You're not shredding enough. And I remember
Wow.
thinking to myself, I don't really like pot because it makes me sleepy. But then everybody tries sativa. And then, of course, our addictive personalities.
Yeah. You're like, say less. Let's
Yeah,
go.
right.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah. There's definitely the component of the physical. Because, yes, weed doesn't make you gain weight on its own. Obviously, you might get the munchies and then you start eating. But yeah, the puffiness that we were talking about earlier, like I look back at photos of my core party days and I'm just like, my God, I was. And I will say, since I was young, I've always struggled with eating disorders.
Mhm.
And again, because I'm a very all or nothing person. So I've kind of experienced the whole spectrum of eating disorders at this point, and it kind of went hand in hand. So there are moments or days where I actually wouldn't eat anything at all because I wanted to look and feel skinny to go out at night. And then I get trashed at night, obviously.
Yes.
And then in my blackout stupor, I end up binging because I hadn't eaten all day and I'm drunk.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you hate yourself because you feel gross and you feel hungover. And where's my credit card? And who did I text?
And why is my phone broken or
Oh,
lost in the Uber? It's like, and then thank God we didn't get behind the wheel because I know so many people. Like, I remember living in LA and being like, oh my God, everybody I know has like a DUI. And I'm like, I am only Ubering. Like, at least
yeah,
you can identify that.
100%. I think I always knew that I never trusted myself, which I guess served me, but I was like, I'm not driving. Like anytime there was an event, even if the idea of drinking wasn't on the table, in the back of my head, it was. So I'm like, I'm not driving.
Yes.
I'll Uber.
Yeah.
And I will say, we're very blessed to be in 2026 and have the opportunities and options available to us that Ubers and Lyfts are just 2 seconds away. Because I know that back then, even like when we were in college, that really wasn't a thing. Like we had a designated driver for the night, or we were like partying close enough to where we lived that we could walk, which like, why would a young college girl walking at midnight by herself in Greenville, Florida be a good idea? I don't know. But there were options.
Yes.
So definitely grateful for that.
Do you think there's this part of you that's okay, maybe I could have a drink one day?
No.
No. You're
I have I have a lot of
excited.
flaws, and there are definitely things that I maybe haven't accepted about myself, like my caffeine intake, which I told my therapist we're going to well because I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But yeah, like, listen,
Just
we're getting rid of a lot of vices here.
Yes.
Caffeine is still on the table. But when it comes to alcohol, like I can't drink. My brain is not wired to be able to have one or two beverages. And maybe I can, but the spiral that's happening mentally about I want another one and I'm actively choosing to not have another one, and that push and pull and that like mental warfare, I'm like, no one else. You look around and you're like, there's no chance in hell anyone in this room is going through the mental warfare that I'm experiencing right now. Or like the countdown until, let's say we know we're having happy hour on like Thursday and it's Monday. Like the calculations and the excitement I'm like, this is taking up so much valuable space. So we are taking it off the table. In taking alcohol off the table, everything else was taken off the table. And it's nice. I wish that my other vice was weed. It wasn't. I didn't like feeling stupid and hungry, to be honest. It affected me. And I unfortunately fell into the pattern of using cocaine
Yeah.
when I drank. And
Which
that
is so common and
it
people just
is.
don't want to talk about it. I don't know if it's because maybe it's stigmatized. It's illegal, but
It's totally illegal. So I get that, but it's readily available and everyone at every bar and every club has it on them, if not more intense substances. And it's super expensive, not to mention how dangerous it is these days with
Fentanyl.
all of the things it's cut with. It's really nice to be able to be present and focus. And if I have a bad day,
successful.
yeah. And bad days happen and all of your feelings are still there. And it's, damn, I have to actually feel all of these things. And if I'm having a bad day, it's not because I'm spiraling that I drank heavily the night before. And it's not, I'm spiraling because I like spent a ton of money on Coke. It's, I'm spiraling because, I don't know, my toddler threw a tantrum and like work was really demanding. And those are I'm grateful to have bad days regarding those things. I'm definitely in a space of gratitude. And I think I do work in the entertainment industry. And I think seeing celebrities specifically speak out about their sobriety journeys has been, for me specifically, maybe not for everyone else, but it's been very impactful for me. I spend all day long dealing with celebrities, maybe not directly, but I'm like writing articles about them, interviewing them, meeting up with them at events or, press junkets or things like that. And so to see people that are in my realm somewhat on a daily basis who have these platforms with the whole world, talk about being vulnerable. The whole world is going to know your story and hear your story. And now you're under a microscope. Because if you say I'm sober, but then somebody at some bar sees you drinking, it's not a personal story anymore. So even honestly talking to you, my friends, my family, they know vaguely my journey. And I think they've all seen me struggle. I've never had a formal intervention. I'm sure it was discussed behind my back. But it's scary to put yourself out there and put your story out there. But I think it's really important because I think it changes the stigma, like you were saying. And you don't have to be drinking alcohol in order to go out and have a good time and live your best life and enjoy a Friday night. And it's just really cool that people are using their platforms to be honest about their experiences. And one of the celebrities that I think, there's a lot of sober celebrities and a lot of people have discussed their journeys to sobriety. But Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Did you interview him?
I have interviewed him in the past. Hasn't been sobriety focused, but I am so impressed with that man. Because if you're an actress, an actor, a musician, alcohol is in those worlds and it's very difficult to get sober in those worlds, but it's not the entire world. Mike made a career being a reality star and in a time when all reality stars did was party. And this group of people on Jersey Shore, all they did was party. And I'm sure everyone got trashed and I'm sure everyone used drugs. And I'm sure it was just part of the culture. And for this man to still be on this show, I think it just got canceled, but I don't think it got renewed. So regardless, but to still be relevant in the same space and to completely do a 180, I'm just so impressed with him. And then the way he gives back, he has recovery centers. He's always,
I love that.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And it gives people like me a lot of hope and pride and strength to share my own stuff.
Yeah, because I think in some ways you could easily be embarrassed or you could easily be private about it, but then you are going to help 1 to thousands of people just from being open and honest on an interview or on whatever, because I really think that we scroll and the search optimization engine sees it and I saw you for a reason. I don't know if you talked about sobriety or maybe it was just meant to be, because I've been connecting with people that are so in line. And I love this because we can share these stories and really help somebody. It could be one person or it could be hundreds of people. It doesn't really fucking matter. It's really just, I see so many of my previous friends, family, I just see them struggling and I really want to be like a reason why they could maybe take a break or because I do think a lot of people are struggling in their careers too. And I see them not making the sacrifices on the weekends or after work to study for maybe a graduate degree or maybe working on that promotion or even just pivoting into another industry that they've been so desperately trying to get to. But it's just ingrained in their day to day or week to week to just have that martini or happy hour. And there's nothing wrong with it if you have moderation in you. But let's be real, humans do not have moderation with drugs and alcohol.
No,
They're
the
addictive for a reason.
addictive substances. Like
Yes.
I'm actually very impressed when people are able to moderate, because I'm like, you're able to moderate something that was not meant for moderation.
Yes.
It was meant for excessive use and for you to keep coming back and keep coming back.
And even the people that shock you that have moderation, I've seen those same people that once in a blue moon feel socially anxious at an event and there's an open bar and then they take too much because let's be honest, if you're uncomfortable, it's free. I have to be networking. And that was my thing. I don't think I'm as extroverted as people realize. I'm really extroverted the more champagne I have. And then I realize I've become able to reset and be a little bit more my true self, which is an introvert.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so interesting. I also consider myself an introvert, and people are like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, no, I love my me time. I recharge by myself. I need my space. I need my quiet time. And I don't know if it's because I have a toddler. And so once it is quiet, I just savor it. But there's a level of anxiety with social interactions. And it's interesting because I think in general, most people who overdrink, probably in every case, there's always something underlying there. Yeah. Is it an escape? Are you unhappy with your life? Or are you miserable at your job? Are you in a terrible relationship? Are you unfulfilled in certain areas of your life? There's so many reasons.
I think I could check everything you just said in 2023. That was everything you just said. That was me in 2023.
Oh, wow. So then not to flip this on you, I'm an interviewer by
I love it.
But
I love it.
Did you have an aha moment, or was it little things that built up that you were like, I can't do this anymore?
I think getting arrested was like, oh my God, I have been like an angel perfect kid from like grade school to like all the way up until, I don't know, like 30. And then I was so disappointed in myself. And I can't blame it on the person I was with, but I was like, okay, I'm in the wrong relationship. And then I'm also like, I was so like disappointed, and it took me like a good year. And then unfortunately I was like, oh my God, I could have been so much more successful memorizing lines and doing all this stuff. But then I moved to Pittsburgh and start selling real estate and create a podcast. And I think it was the best thing to happen because I just needed to have a hard reset. But it was that getting arrested for being too drunk. And I'm like, this is what like a 21-year-old does. This is not a 31-year-old.
That really sucks. I'm really sorry you had to experience that. It sounds like a really pivotal moment in your life. And the fact that you can look back on it and be like, you literally made lemonade out of lemons, because a lot of people, their rock bottom is just an excuse to continue using because, oh, I already did this. Who cares? And so the fact that you were like, I am going to do a 180, reevaluate all these aspects of my life, I think that's beyond impressive. And you're so good at what you do. And this is like where you're supposed to be. And I'm so grateful that you have me on here. I don't even know that you found me on your For You page or whatever. I didn't know. I just got your DM and I was like, that sounds great. You know what I'm saying?
I think you just really are somebody that is like impressive, like with the way that you handle yourself, and you're so humble. And I think also too, like when I saw your stuff, I was like, oh my God, I gotta get her on immediately before she gets too busy.
So sweet. You're so sweet.
And truthfully, I have not honestly said that, but I feel this like comfortability, even though we're not in person. I think sometimes, like when you connect with somebody, I'm just like, I do want to help somebody, because I think that a lot of people have been in that position of like public drunkenness, and then like they don't learn from it. And that could easily be like me. And then like I'm being honest with you, because I think you even sharing that about Coke, like some people are like, I can't say that because that's going to make me look bad as a mom or something, but that's your past.
Thank you for saying that. I actually have never really said that out loud. My closest friends know. My parents don't. Now they will, but
Yeah,
it
but it's
it's
so common
it is very
and
common. It's
and we
very common
can't
to the point.
shame.
Yeah, I was just in Miami for Grand Prix Formula One, party hopping till 4 a.m., trying to spy on celebrities. And it's funny because it was like, what year is this right now? Why am I at 11 at 3 in the morning? What's going on? And then the whole day, the whole night, I was sober and I was definitely looking up for celebs, but also people watching, and the amount of drugs out in the open at some of these more exclusive parties where it's no one bats an eye was a little mind blowing. It is very common. I think way more people struggle with more than one substance. I'm still on the caffeine journey that like I was telling you about that I wish I could listen. I always
There are
say
worse
there are
things.
worse things we can be
I
addicted to.
know. And you know what? I did take it out for 2 months and I felt amazing. Water, went to
Wait,
sleep.
did you have any withdrawals when you stopped drinking?
I did probably for 2 days. I think it was just a mild headache.
Okay.
But then it's like after 2 days, if you're like going to the sauna or if you're doing a hit workout, you're kind of like just pulling out like
Yeah.
the
Like getting rid of
toxins
that.
or whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm not like a
No,
nutrition person.
either.
But I do feel like it was so magical to go through that. Like, you know what it was? I was in Tulum working on a design job, surrounded by drinkers and partiers, but they were super supportive, always bought my NA beers. And then I just was staying up like you were, like at 4 a.m. and I'm just chugging coffees, Nespresso, sugar-free Red Bull. And you're like trying to keep up with this wild Tulum crowd. And
Mhm.
then I just said, you know what? I gotta give up caffeine because I'm getting to a point where it's just not even working. I
Ah,
was just trying to drink it to stay up till 4. And so
it's
then I
hard.
gave it up and it was such a good 2 months. I think the problem is like when you go to another time zone and then you smell this amazing, freshly brewed beans, you're like, okay, I could have one. And then it started with a decaf and then now I'm back on it, girl.
Yeah. No, I'm the exact same way. Trust me. No, I'm a coffee drinker, but if I'm traveling or at an airport or at a gas station, I love me a Monster, but it's got the white
Right.
Monster
The
in like the
white.
can with the pretty stuff. So if I see it, I'll get one.
You're so
And this, which is infrequent. And then I started buying it at the grocery store, and I had to put a hard stop. I was like, no, we cannot have Monster in this. We gotta put a line somewhere. So now it's like a treat. A little white
yes.
Monster, it's a treat sometimes.
I love a white monster, but I
So
can't buy a case of it. That would be crazy.
no, it was in my fridge, and I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, you know what? You're actually right. This is too much.
It seems like you have a good partner and a good husband that you've known for 10 plus years.
Yeah. He saved my life in so many ways. I credit him and my therapist, who I've probably known the same amount of time. She is still in LA,
Oh, wow.
but got licensed in Florida, so we can still meet. She's
Nice.
phenomenal. And I actually met my husband on the TMZ show.
Yes.
And I was in one of my random bouts of sobriety when I met him.
Oh, cool.
And I remember the rule of don't date until you're about a year into your sobriety.
Yes.
And I remember that in my head. And I told my therapist, I was like, I met this guy. He's great. He's kind and normal. And I'm still working on myself. I don't know if I should kind of go on this journey with him. And she was like, basically, what are you talking about? The right person will be on that journey with you. You don't have to finish your journey alone and then find the person. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I'm grateful that I was not drinking at the time that I met him, because I feel like we really got to know each other authentically.
Yes.
And then throughout our relationship, I've been ups and downs with my drinking, and he's been a very patient man, but he shouldn't have to be. And I don't think it's anyone's job, whether you're my spouse or my parent, or my child or my sister or my best friend to pick up the pieces of something that I should be trying to fix. But it's not that easy for everyone. And I recognize that. It's very hard, very hard. But I hope that people can all get to the point in their lives, people who are struggling, where they're just tired. Honestly, thank God we get older, because I can't keep up with what I was doing in 2016. Thank God the hangovers suck. Thank God I'm exhausted and my back hurts and I can't like all of that helps keep that lifestyle not an option for me.
Exactly.
And I
Lots of
think
people need
that's why celebrities struggle a lot, because we're talking about people with endless funds, endless resources, surrounded by yes people, surrounded by parties and events.
Yeah.
I can't confidently say that if you put me in that environment, that I wouldn't fall as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just easier to be a hot mess express when you have the world as your oyster.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, sorry, going back to my husband, he is a lifesaver and an angel on earth.
Do you
Seriously.
think it being in that enabled you to kind of go back into the drinking and then allow yourself to kind of get messy because he was there to pick up the pieces?
Maybe, but it wasn't just him. I think throughout my life, I have had a lot of friends who had my back to the point where they shouldn't have had to have the back of an adult making these decisions. And so I have subconsciously always, I think, been like, oh, somebody's got me. Whether it's my husband or my friend or my sister,
Yes.
all of the above have had my back. I wouldn't say anyone has enabled me. And if they did, it was like guys that I dated who, you know the drill. You're like, you guys just party together and it's convenient. And like those instances were definitely enabling. And then the friends that came with those environments were enabling. But my core people are still my people and have seen every version of me and have loved every version of me. And I don't know why, quite frankly, but I truly feel like the luckiest person in the world. Truly.
That's really sweet. And I think I know why. I'm sure that you have a big heart and you're not just selfish, take care of me. You give back to those people that take care of you.
I try in other ways. That's a good point. Maybe I'm not holding their hair back while they puke, but I would if they needed me to.
Yeah. And like even talking about the LA thing, and I know that you got to run too. When I was like in these environments dating people that kind of had money, it was easy to just get caught up in them just like party and like just don't have to really perform at work because they got my back. And I think then when I really just was completely independent, I had to get sober because I didn't have that extra cushion of being like, oh, they can pay the bills. It was like all on me. And I think in some ways it can be hard to get out of the cycle when you're in those relationships because I think Bronwyn Burke from Real Housewives of Orange County, I don't think she's in that. It's been a while. She talks about how her husband kind of took care of her and hid her issues and then something maybe broke but we definitely have to open up about those things to help others.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't more.
If you had something on just a mantra of life to kind of finish it off, is there one piece of advice that you can give somebody out there that's trying to get sober?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've ever consciously thought about the answer to that, but a mantra that does help me, even if I'm having a day where, not that I want a drink, but I'm like, it would be nice to have something.
Yes.
I always go back to, how do you want to feel tomorrow? It's always been in the back of my head, even in the heavy drinking days. I just wouldn't always listen to it, but it helps. And then when you wake up the next day, you think about it. I fucking feel great. I am so glad I made that choice. And so if somebody is watching this or following either of our journeys and they're struggling, I think there is genuine contentment and joy in sobriety, the highs are not going to be as crazy high as when you're like on drink number 7 and bump number 2 at brunch with your girls.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real high. And the lows are not as low. And if they are, you're able to navigate them because you're not fucking with your brain chemistry. So, yeah, I would say just think about how you want to feel tomorrow.
That's a great way to describe it. I couldn't agree more with you. I forget the lows are really not bad.
It's manageable.
Yeah.
You can logically be like, okay, something happened and it absolutely sucks, or something rocked my world. How are we going to figure this out? How are we going to navigate this? And not just numb it out. Because that really is just a Band-Aid. Because that problem is going to be there tomorrow. And not only that, you're going to have a gnarly hangover too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think, Bernie, I am so excited to read your audiobook that's coming out in 2027 because I know you got a lot of good stories. I feel like it could really be helpful. And thank you so much for being transparent and vulnerable with your journey. I know that it's taken you a long time to get to this point, or maybe it hasn't. It seems like
it has.
Yeah, especially being a mom.
Yeah, that's changed my identity, being a mom.
Yeah.
And I actually struggled with, that was a big part of postpartum depression, was like, who am I now? And I think I'm so comfortable and confident in who I am now. And I think it just not drinking serves this version of me. And why would I want to mess that up?
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing your interviews. Definitely somebody that I follow. You got to check out Bernie at.
Bernie Zilio is my Instagram
your handle, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then can you spell that out for us?
Yes. BERNIE. And then my last name, Zilio, ZILI.
Thank you so much, Bernie. I look forward to seeing you in Miami or
my
Orlando.
God, yeah. I live in Orlando, but I'm in Miami all the time. So if you're ever in town, please let me know.
Oh my God. It's an excuse to come to Orlando. I definitely had some good times there too.
Totally. Just avoid the summer because it is brutal.
Yeah, I went there in August once and I was like, what the fuck? Oh, wait, that's why the flights were like $95.
Yeah, they're like, come here to our inferno.
And I'm sure you're not going to be coming to Pittsburgh anytime soon, but
I don't have reason to. If I ever am in that part of town and that part of the country, I will absolutely definitely.
I'm going to figure out a way to get you in the studio in person.
I would love that. No, I would really love that. And honestly, thank you for this opportunity. It means the world to me. I'm glad this worked out. Things happen for a reason, the universe, mysterious ways. And I'm so grateful that this ended up working out. So thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
And not only are you beautiful on camera, you have so much wisdom to give. And I know that sounds a little politically incorrect to say beautiful and wisdom. Not that you can't have both. But I just think you seem like you have that inside and out. And I'm blessed to be able to call you a friend in sobriety Scorpio journey.
Yes. Oh my God, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much. I feel the same way. I feel like we bonded, connected, like I've known you for years.
I know. And I do want you to, if you ever need anything, you know who to call or text or whatever. I'm here for you.
I appreciate
that. I'm sure
that.
it goes both ways.
100%.